So our move over to the Zam official YouTube channel has been going really well. In fact, last week we were the #1 most viewed channel in the gaming category in South Africa. So I thought I would commemorate this event, this huge milestone in the life of TankSpot and the Zam network as a whole, the best way I know how, which is through poetry. So I've prepared a poem for you. Roses are red, violets are blue. Thank you, South Africa, for all of the... Hello Internet, and welcome back once again to the Weekly Marmot. My name is Lore, and I had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I don't know about you guys, but it was pretty great. I spent the entire weekend on the lake, and it was amazing, except for kind of my wedding ring fell off in the lake when I was swimming at some point, and so yeah, that's gone now. I have to get a new one. Yeah, so I thought I would mention that at least, because in like every episode there's like 5 people that post down here in the comments and they're like, oh my god, is Lore wearing a wedding ring? Is he married? So I figured there's gonna be like 5,000 people that have noticed in the past, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, Lore's not wearing his wedding ring. But no, nothing too major. I mean, I guess it is kind of major. I mean, my wedding ring fell off in a lake, but my wedding ring fell off in a lake. So yeah, there's that whole thing. Not going to dwell on that too much longer. Let's get into today's topics. But first, I have a couple things that I want to bring to your attention to make sure that, well, they're to your attention. First of all, if you haven't watched it yet, definitely go watch Ciderhelm's big 20-minute long introduction to him being Ciderhelm thing. And he talked about a whole bunch of stuff in that video, especially for people who are still on the fence about the whole switch between the Zam official and the Ciderhelm YouTube channel. Definitely go check that out. He will put a lot of your fears to rest. And also, you know, it's 20 minutes of Ciderhelm. He is actually mostly real. He's only half robot. Like, just the waist down is actually entirely robot. But the rest of him is pretty normal. Yeah. Also watch Phony's BIYM thing that he put on his channel. If you go to the Zam official channel, you can find Phony's channel from there pretty easily. Just because it's really funny, and it made me laugh a whole lot. Yeah. Also had a whole bunch of people ask about the Cataclysm beta, since it's open now, and yes, I'll be talking about it today. I'm pretty excited. But a whole bunch of people wanted to know if the Marmot would remain spoiler-free, if I'm going to give away major plot points or anything too huge about the Cataclysm beta. No, I'm gonna do my absolute best not to give anything away too much in the beta here. And in fact, even in the dungeon preview videos that I'm working on, I'm kind of just showing you clips of the bosses. I'm not really showing you exactly how to kill them. There will be separate videos for that. So yeah, be careful which videos you watch. You can kind of pick and choose what sort of stuff you want spoiled for you or whatever, but I'm not going to be coming straight out in the Marmot and going, oh yeah, Deathwing is actually Jaina Proudmoore. Ooh. No, it's not going to be anything like that. Don't worry, I'm keeping things simple. Alright, so enough about all of that stuff. Let's talk about Cataclysm. And specifically this week I'm going to be talking about the quest and just general zone design so far in the expansion. Just from what I've been able to see in the beta so far, because quite honestly it's looking really great. If you've looked over any of the flyovers and such that Ciderhelm and Alianna have been putting together and putting on the front page of TankSpot and on the Zam official YouTube channel, plug, they just look great. The new zones look great. The old zones that they've gone back and redone look great. It just looks fantastic. It is really cool to just kind of see these old zones that, you know, you've been through them 100 times already, you know, like Barrens, for example. I don't know how many times I've done Barrens. And then I go back there and I'm actually excited to go quest in the Barrens again, because it just looks really cool. And there's a couple of spots you can see when you just fly over even that you're like, oh man, I bet there's some really awesome quests in there. I also was able to do a whole bunch of questing in Stone Talon, and that zone has been just completely overhauled, just start to finish. You can barely tell it's the same zone anymore. So they are doing some really ridiculously cool stuff with the zone design. It's just really cool. Very suave and crisp and excellent. I don't know, there's so many descriptive words I could probably throw at it that say awesome in various different ways. And that's mostly just going to take up the entirety of the show, so I'm not going to do that. And of course, the new zones are fantastic as well. They're just done really, really well. Mount Hyjal, if you ever did the raid instance at level 70 in the Burning Crusade, you really get the sense of, okay, this is that place, but oh my god, all this other stuff is going on. What happened? And then if you go to Vashir, they took the idea of an underground area, and like, I don't know about you guys, but I have never been a fan of underwater levels in pretty much any game. I mean, even thinking back to Mario Brothers way back when I was a kid playing a Nintendo, I never liked the water levels. They were always just kind of like, this is one of those again, and that's kind of annoying, and it doesn't really control all that well, and it's just kind of bleh. But in World of Warcraft, in Cataclysm, they actually managed to pull it off really, really well. It's not, you don't get that sort of water level tedium to it where, you know, usually they just make everything move slower and they're like, yeah, you're underwater, great, fantastic. You don't get that at all. It actually plays really, really well, and I liked it a lot. I actually went the whole way through questing in that area just because I just got drawn into the quests, which is the other thing I wanted to talk about, is the quest design. Now, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know how things were before, or what's changed, or just what has led to this whole thing going on, but quests in Cataclysm are friggin' amazing. They're fantastic. Like, the questing in Cataclysm is just so good. It feels like every quest chain, it's like a story that you get pulled along in, and you stop really paying attention to the, oh, I'm this far away from a level, or oh, if I do 10 more quests, I'll be able to buy a new dog. I don't know, but I don't know what you quest for other than experience. I can't come up with another example, but no, it really is. It makes the quests engaging and exciting, and you actually you start doing the quests because the quests are fun and not because that's how you level. It's really, I don't want to say night and day, because there are a lot of really, really engaging and memorable quests in the current game in live, especially in Wrath of the Lich King. Like, they've been getting steadily better over the years, I would say, but it's just a huge step up in Cataclysm, just how much stronger every single quest chain feels and how memorable every single quest chain is. Like, I could probably, I'm not going to, but I could probably name off every single quest chain in Vashir and in Hyjal, and just off the top of my head, just because I remember all of them. They were really, really just memorable. I keep using the word memorable because it's a great word. It describes it perfectly. It's stuff you remember. It's stuff that you enjoy doing while you're doing it, because it's enjoyable to do, not because you feel like you're getting some other goal out of doing it. It becomes the goal itself, because that's just how much fun it is. And that extends to the entirety of the new content that they're putting out too, including the lower level areas. The Goblin and Worgen starting areas are both amazing. If you want spoilers on the Goblin area, there's a guide by Aliena up on TankSpot. You can go read it and get a whole bunch of information about it. And I believe she's working on one for the Worgen starting area as well. So that should be coming at some point. But yeah, even just moving on from there, like you go from, as a Goblin, you go through the starting area, you finish that, you wind up at Orgrimmar, and then you can go to, I believe you can go to Ajara or Stone Talent from there. And I went through Ajara, and night and day from live. Like, on live, the Ajara questing, I mean, it's a cool zone, right? It's pretty, it looks great, and there's a whole lot of interesting stuff going on in there, especially around where Azurgos patrols. But there's not really much for questing in there. I mean, there's a handful of quests to do with some of the undead things that are there, and some of the Naga, but other than that, it's, you know, there's like 12 quests or something. It's someplace you go because you got stuck and you needed a little bit of extra experience. Not so in Cataclysm, not even remotely so in Cataclysm. It's just a really, really fun and really cool zone, and just has so many out-of-the-box ideas for quests that you start doing it and you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize the developers could actually do that sort of thing. Like, they've put a lot of new development time, a lot of new tech in behind the questing, and it really, really shows. They're paying a lot of attention to detail in making these quests just super awesome. So, the 1 through 60 leveling experience, and then the 80 to 85 is really, really good too, don't get me wrong, but the 1 through 60 leveling experience is probably going to be the best questing in the entire game now, where right now it's just kind of like, okay, how fast can I get to 60 so that I can get into Burning Crusade content? It's going to be more like, oh man, I got to 60, I'm out of this awesome 1 through 60 content, now I have to go do the Burning Crusade stuff again. So yeah, that's going to be it from me for this week. Thanks again for watching. Just a reminder, if you'd like to ask me a question to potentially be talked about here on the show, the best way to do that is to send a private message to the username Lore on TankSpot. That's L-O-R-E. Just go to tankspot.com, send me a private message. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's twitter.com/DevilLore. I've actually been streaming some of my guild's raids recently, and if you want to catch those when I throw those up, best way to do so is just to follow me on Twitter so that you get the announcement when I send it out. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I will see you guys next time.